Welcome to my one-man panel of madness. Hello, this is Dr. Gio Who, and today's ramble is more, I'm going to say it's an angry ramble, a frustrated ramble. And yes, you've probably guessed it, it has to do with the fact that the BBC have not yet released an air date for Doctor Who. Now, this is becoming absurd, literally to the point where if you were to look at Twitter, just Twitter alone, if you follow anybody on Twitter, that follows anything with Doctor Who or that's kind of their thing, you will notice that about 80% of the fans are now upset and frustrated. And they have a right to, because I've never seen in any show where something like this has happened. You know, even with Star Trek Discovery, yes, they had a specific target date. They didn't meet it. But they said, listen, we're not done. We still have a lot more work to do. And actually, I think the first few attempts were unfortunately changed because I know Brian Fuller left the show and there were still things happening behind the scenes. And I think there was a lot of shake-up going on. So what is happening with the BBC? You know, I believe, this is just my belief, it's not an opinion, it's not a fact, I mean, it's an opinion, not a fact, sorry, that there is some internal trouble, perhaps, and they are not ready, meaning that a 9-month production schedule somehow spiraled out of control to a full year schedule. Now, I remember early on, somebody had mentioned with Doctor Who that the production was about 6 months, 6 to 9 months, and originally Doctor Who would have finished Series 11 by April, which we know it didn't because after Comic-Con in July, they still had 2 more weeks to shoot. Now, obviously, those 2 weeks could have been maybe the Christmas special, I don't know. But the problem here is all the secrecy. Now, we've never had this level of secrecy, at least I don't think so, with Doctor Who since it came back in 2005. As a matter of fact, I think they were more open about a lot of it. So whether this is Chibnall's doing or BBC, it's just frustrating. And I think that this is now doing the opposite of what they hoped for. Instead of riding that wave from Comic-Con and all the excitement from Comic-Con and all of that, it's becoming now frustration and leaked rumors. And, you know, as a matter of fact, I just read that Sony, who owns Crackle in Latin America, has already put that Doctor Who will be out in October. Also, there was an article that came out from I guess you could say, TV Guide type of magazine, putting Doctor Who being released September. And the idea was September 23rd, meaning it would move to a Sunday TV spot versus Saturday, which we've known, you know, for many years. So what is going on? And I think this is a moment for the BBC to stop and, you know, not ignore the fans. Because one of the worst things any franchise can do is ignore the fans. No matter what you think, the fans always make or break a show. You know, even if they're trying to bring in new fans, if you lose the majority of your fans, let's just say 80% of the fans that are kind of pissed off right now about what's going on, you've got a bomb on your hands. You know, you don't have a successful show. You're going to have people not want to watch, or if they do, they watch it later. And there's the end of Doctor Who. And I don't want to see that. I genuinely don't, you know. It's been rumored that Doctor Who still has about another 5 years. Apparently that they've either pre-sold the show, or that there was a leaked memo that mentioned that Doctor Who was, I believe, renewed through 2020 or 20 something. I don't know. This is a long time ago, so I really can't get my facts straight. Actually, I wouldn't even call them facts because it was such a long time that it was a memo that apparently was leaked, and it mentioned that Doctor Who would have another 5 years, and this was during Series 9, I believe, of Doctor Who. So I think that the deadline, or the end was 2020. Now, of course, that all depends on how this series does. So again, BBC, if you're out there and you're listening, get your shit together, okay? Don't treat the fans in this way, because you're going to lose out in the end, And I know the BBC does not want to lose one of their major franchises because it means a lot of money in merchandising that you lose. Most of the shows do not make so much money with the show itself, but all the licensing and merchandising that they generate. So, if you want to piss off the fans and continue to do this, then by all means, keep everybody, out of the loop. Keep everybody guessing whether it's going to be September or October or back and forth, because what you're doing is creating a terrible, terrible fan base who are not going to support the show. I mean, it'll be watched, but it won't be as popular. It won't be as significant as it would have been if you just release a date. So if there's problems, hey, be open about it. Say, look, we honestly are not ready to air the show just yet. Now, obviously, this is different than a streaming service, for example, because a streaming service, you can pull the date because it's not, an air date. You are taking airtime, and there's a lot of issues involved in that versus a streaming service where, hey, we're not ready, so we're not going to have it out on that day. And it's okay because it's a streaming service, So whatever the issue is, I just think that they have to come clean. I think ignoring and putting out these little files of ticking clocks with Who on it is just not doing it anymore. And I'm just, hate to say that this is costing them more fans than it should. You have to remember that there are fans out there that are not happy that Jodie Whittaker is the new Doctor. There are a lot of people out there who don't agree that a Doctor should be female, and they'll do anything to prove their point. When things got leaked out, they were the first ones to keep sharing those images, the videos. And I even read one of them was on, I believe it was a Hollywood Reporter article, and in the comments, a gentleman, I assume it's a gentleman from the photo, just kept saying, great, I don't like this idea anyways, so I'll just keep sharing. And that goes to prove the point that people who don't like the series are wanting to do anything they can to damage it. And the BBC is definitely giving them a lot of fuel. And I never thought I would be so upset with the BBC, especially after the 50th anniversary. I thought they did a lot of good for that and for Peter Capaldi. But right now, I don't know if they're just trying to create this mysterious kind of environment or something, but it's getting old. It's getting tiresome. And in the words of the Doctor, wearing a bit thin. So I would suggest, get something out, give us a date, and stop with the secrecy, because I think you're hurting the show more with this form of marketing. If it truly is marketing, then it's terrible. Whoever came up with this idea is not, of course they're saying, well, we're getting a lot of press and a lot of fans are talking about it, but not in a positive way. The idea that all press is good press, I'm sorry, but that's not 100% true. Negative press can be very, very damaging. Let's look at the current hashtag #MeToo. That kind of press is not good press. So that old idea, well, any press is good press, no, not anymore. All press is press. And it's good, and it's going to be bad. That's how it works. So that's my ramble. I'm just hoping that within the next few days, we get something, because if it definitely is in September, they've ruined a lot of chances that they had to actually get more people to watch the show, because you're alienating them. If it's in October, still, you're only just about 40 days or 40 some days away from what I believe to be the actual date, which will be October 6th. At I can't say the time, but I have a feeling it's going to be like 5 p.m. Maybe their time, which would be 11 our time, for just the first episode, and then it would air again. Or the continuing stories or episodes would air at its normal time on BBC America. If it is going to be Sunday, I just got to say I'm concerned about that. If the rumors are true and it's going to be Sunday, because AMC has The Walking Dead, and I'm sorry, but Walking Dead has a larger fan base and a bigger I guess group, I don't want to say fan, but it has a lot more of a following than Doctor Who. So if you were to put that against a Walking Dead night, it's over, especially now with Rick leaving. Yes, the show has been declining in its numbers and viewership, but this season now, you've got the main actor, the main character from the very beginning, is leaving. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to come back and give Rick his goodbye. You know, we want to find out how it'll play out throughout the season, unless they literally kill him in episode 1. But I don't think they're going to do that. So again, putting Doctor Who against this new season of The Walking Dead, I don't know. I just feel like, at least here in the U.S., it won't be that good. Even if it is earlier in the day, most people are going to focus on this last season for Andrew Lincoln on The Walking Dead, because I know I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him. So, all right, that's my ramble. Like I said, it's just opinions, not facts. So check us out next time.